In this video, I'll be talking about multi-agent in Microsoft Copilot Studio. Now, the concept of multi-agent is pretty simple. It basically means you have a main agent and you have a child agent connected to that specific agent. Or maybe you might have one main agent and there might be other connected agents. Now, the relationship between these different agents are bit different and it operates in a bit different way. But important thing to note is that you will have an ability to create a lightweight agent, or we call it as a child agent in Copilot Studio. Now, when I say child agents, means a copilot's an agent which you create will have, say, take for example, you create this agent, you can have, say, one child, two child, three child, and you can have multiple child agents connected. Now, then you have something called as a connected agent, which is again an independent agent, but then you are connecting it has nothing to do with a hierarchy. All the boundary of this particular agent and this particular child agents are completely at a different level. Now, I'm going to cover that in a separate video, but important thing to note is that you are now able to create multiple agents against a single agent. So you can create numerous child agents. Now, why what is the need to create multiple agents is basically to segregate the functioning of the agent and keep it modularized. Now, how we create functions in a programming language, like we want to keep the code structured, we want to keep the code modularized, and also the function which we create in a programming language serves a specific purpose. So similarly, you can have multiple child agents which can perform individual unique operation, and at the same time, once all these child agents are integrated, they can be used for a bigger purpose. Lightweight agents can be used in multiple different agent apps. Now, this is how the interface will look like. So there is a agent tabs. So once you navigate to the agent tab, you'll be able to create an agent. Now there are two different agents which we can create: a child agent and a connected agent. Now, child agent will be within the scope of that specific agent, and also connected agent, you can connect agents which are connectable to this particular agent. Now, this agent you can connect to multiple agents, not only this agent, not only the agent which you have connected to. So, global airport code, you can connect to any different agents which you have within your system, provided you satisfy some condition. Now, within a child agent, there won't be much feature set which you may need to configure compared to the root agent, but there are a set of information which you need to fill in, like the details, instructions, knowledge, and you can also even connect the agent to tool. Multi-agent options, two options: you create a lightweight agent or you connect to an existing agent. So when you click on add agent, you'll be presented with two options: create an agent or connect to an existing agent. But remember, connect to an existing agent means you need to create that agent well in advance. So that is basically selection from all the available agents within the environment. And once you connect to an existing agent, all the agents which are connectable will be presented in this interface. And then this is all about agent connection. So once an agent is completely connectable, then it will pass that test and you will be able to connect that agent. Now there are few set of instructions which you need to note, that there are like a few ground rules which are important to satisfy before you even connect to an agent. So one is related to authentication, second is related to the description field. So, and then there is a switch which is available for you need to configure so that other agents can connect to that specific agent. Now, let me navigate to the application over here. So let me show you in Copilot Studio. So copilotstudio.preview.microsoft.com. So I am in the agents tab. So what I'll do is, like, I'll open one of the agent. Now this is the agent which I've been working on. Now, this is an air agent. Now, this basically agent provides information about airlines, specifically focusing on crew size, aircraft models, number of aircraft, headquarters, origin country. Now, let me show you in a diagrammatic way what are the things. So, as you see over here, this at root agent is my air agent. Now, here, what I'm gonna do is like I will be connecting it to multiple child agents. So first I will create a couple of child agents, and then I'll connect that agents to it. And then there might be an external connected agents which I can consume within the root agent. Now the requirement is the root agent will give information about aircraft, staff, headquarters, and all those things. But in child agent, I can uh, create a specific functioning area, and then that will serve only that specific area of interest. Now, one example would be if I want to have a child agent to only talk about uh, commercial airlines, another child agent to talk only about charter airlines, another child agent to call to work only from a low cost airline perspective, or it can be anything. So I'll give you an example. I'll show you an example which I have already built for my agent. So if you navigate to the agent tab, there are a few set of agents which you can see. So relationship child. So if you see this specific thing, I have an agent which only talks about non-flagship carrier. So if an airline is a non-flagship carrier, means say in Australia we have an airline named as Qantas. So Qantas is like government uh, based entity, I'd say. Means that it's a flagship carrier. It's a flagship carrier of Australia. But there is another airlines like Virgin Australia, which is like a non-flagship carrier. So if you want to get information about non-flagship carrier for a specific country, then this particular agent will serve the purpose. Similarly, we have another agent which will only talk about airlines which flies more than 100 destinations. So that means any big airlines which flies around 100 destinations. So this agent will only talk about that. Then we have different airport codes. So based on IATA and ICAO, so airline codes. If you want to know about airline codes, you can make use of this particular child agent. So based on different functionality, I have created multiple child agents. Now these all things serves my purpose, but think about it like if you want to go to a store and then use the agent rather than you creating an agent. So in that scenario, I have something called as a global airport guide. So take for example, if someone else has built within my team, or maybe for some from some external team, and I want to connect that or use that rather than me building a child agent, so I can utilize this. Now the difference between the connected and child agent is that connected agent is completely independent of the scope. So this agent can be not only used in this particular agent, but it can be used in other agents as well. So if you have agent 2, agent 3, agent 4, you can make use of this particular agent. However, there are child agents which is pretty much restricted, and it will work within the bounds of a specific work area only. Alternatively, once you connect all this agent, you have an option to turn on or off. So once you connect an agent, you can even configure the agent uh, to child agent to be turned off, so that it does not take part in the entire conversation process. Now, let's create one agent over here. Now I have already opened one of the Wikipedia page which talks about list of low cost airlines. So if I have a requirement to display information about low cost airlines, so what I'll do is I'll create a child agent. So if I click on add an agent, I get two options: create an agent, which will create a child agent. So this one creates a child agent. And if you want to connect an existing agent, you can connect through this particular button. Now, Azure AI Foundry and Microsoft 365 Agent SDK connection is coming soon. So currently it is not available, but we will go ahead and create a child agent. So I'll create an agent, which is basically a child agent, and which will answer information about list of low cost airlines. So I will add this list of low cost airlines as a into the knowledge source. Now, as you see, the information which is presented is name and when will this be used. So I'll just say list of uh, low cost airlines. When will this be used? The agent chooses based on description, or maybe I can um, trigger it based on any other triggering point, like when a message is received, or when an activity occurs, or when it's invoked, when it's redirected by a topic. So I can trigger this agent whichever way I can choose, but for time being I'll just keep it the agent chooses based on description. So I'll say this child agent will display information about low cost airlines in the world. And we can perform we can add some additional details, like if we want to keep it more configurable, then we can make use of the variable. We can set a priority on how this trigger should trigger against other qualifying triggers. So I'm not going to add that, but here in instruction I will say this agent will display information about low cost carriers airline. It also displays airlines which are defunct, means the any low cost airlines which are currently not operational. So it will also display information about that airline as well. And any other instruction, I'll say keep the response concise and in a nice bulleted list with name of airlines marked in bold. So this is like a simple instruction. Knowledge source, I will add a knowledge source. I'll click on add, and public website. Already copied the link. Click on add, and this is the list of low cost airlines link. List of low cost airlines. Oh, sorry, it's not the low. Yeah, list of low cost airlines, and click add to agent. Enable your agent to search all public website. I've kept it on. You can turn it off depending on your requirement, and also you can add multiple tools over here. Now this is just a simple example, so you get an option to put details, instruction, knowledge, and tools. Now remember, this is a child agent. Now when you create a main agent, so let me go to the main agent and show to you that interface as well, and we can compare and contrast between those two. So let me open air agent. So air agent is the main agent. Now let me compare this. So I'll just say split screen. Yeah. So if you compare, so this one is the child agent. So this is child, and this is that root agent, right? So if we compare in root agent, yes, we get to put in name, orchestration. So use Gen AI to determine how to respond to user. So this is pretty much missing in the child agent. Ability to select the LLM response model, so that is missing. You cannot see the analytics. Instructions, yes, it is there. So instructions is there in both the screen. So if you scroll down, you will see knowledge, web search configuration, and tools. But in the root agent you can do the same thing: knowledge, web search, tool, and you can even trigger at will, right? So this is like that agentic AI interface. So here I can trigger this agent. I can connect multiple agents. You cannot connect other agent to a child agent, so this option is missing over here, so it is not there. Then you have an option to add a topic. Now here we don't have an option to add a topic, right? So these are the different I'd say feature set in terms of root agent and the child agent. All right, so separate two tabs, and once you create this agent, I'll click on save, and here there's an option to enable it, and this is enabled. Now if I click on three dots, I can delete the child agent from here, or I can open the code view so I can see all the instructions nicely formatted in terms of kind, begin dialog, settings, input type, output type. So as it is a simple one, I don't have anything much further. So I'll click on publish, and this agent information will be published. So what we have done, we have created a child agent, and that child agent is added into that main agent. Child agent does one specific action. It will display a list of low cost airlines, and once it is published, we will be asking some questions. So can I get list of low cost airlines which are defunct? And it will start looking into the knowledge source, and as you see, it has first picked up that knowledge source, and it has given me the information. So it has already given me some information, so it will start putting that information in the response panel over here. And it has given this output list of defunct low cost airlines. And uh, and but now, as you see, it has taken from, say, third party site, right? Because we have web search enabled. Now if we turn off that web search, then it will directly look into the knowledge source and then get those information. Uh, so this is how you can get those information configured. Now that's about agents. Now think about it, like if you have a different set of agents. So I have so many agents over here. So let's say stamp agent. So I want to connect the stamp agent to this particular agent. Okay, I know there's no direct correlation, but this is an example of how you connect how do you connect a connected type of agent, right, instead of a child agent. Now if you see the description, it says connected with your current agent so they can work together in addition to its own independent work. Child agent lives inside your current agent. So that's the difference between child agent and connected agent. So child agent lives inside your current agent and inherits its settings, ideal for breaking down the complex logic. So when you create a child agent, remember it's very much part of the main agent, and you're just breaking down the complex logic into simple form. Now, if I click on add an agent and click on Copilot Studio, these are the list of agents I am able to see which I can connect. Now, as you see over here, stamp agent. So I can connect stamp agent. So if I click on stamp agent over here, it will start fetching those information, and then it will uh, perform some test. And once that test is completed, it will give you some sort of an information that, okay, now you can add this agent to this particular agent, air agent. Now let me leave this. If I go into, say, again, to say stamp agent over here. Now in the main agent, we have some settings. Okay, so if you see, look into that settings. Now here, there is topic, there is an agents, there's trigger, tools, web search, knowledge, etc. But if you go into the settings of that specific agent, and here we get all those stock standard settings. But if you go into agent details, you will see agent details, agent the logos, and all those things we can configure. Now there is one setting over here which says connected agents. Now let other agents connect to this and use this one. Now as you see over here, this one which we have picked, so let me close this. This is a stamp agent. Now in stamp agent, there is this, you cannot actually connect, right? So if I click on add an agent, go to connect to an existing agent, click on stamp agent, and it will list down the stamp agent. Click on add agent. So what I'm trying to attempt is, I'm trying to connect this particular agent to an air agent. Now it says agent added successfully. Now the stamp agent configuration, which you see over here, it basically does some information about philately and stamps. Now this agent is connected. Now there are two connected agents, which you see over here: connected agents, stamp agents, and global airport guide, which are basically an independent agent. It does not reside within the main agent. Now if you go to stamp agents, and if you go into, say, settings, now here it says let other agents connect to and use this one. Okay, we can now, this is again a preview feature, we can turn this on and off. Now if it is on, yes, you can connect this with other agents and use this one, so that agents work together to complete the workflow. But if you turn this off, then you will not be able to connect. Now I have so many agents listed over here, so let me leave this part. I have so many agents connected over here, but not all the agents appear when I try to connect using uh, Copilot Studio. There are very few agents listed over here. Now, why? Because there are some condition which needs to be satisfied, like the agent which you are connecting should fulfill some sort of information, like the description field is required, authentication mode compatibility is required, because it should not be restricted to some form of authentication. Generative AI is disabled for an agent. So if a generative AI is disabled for an agent, then you will not be able to connect to that. So as you see over here, you can see Philadelphia bot, right? Now you can connect to Philadelphia bot, but if I go to Philadelphia bot and if I make it incompatible, then that particular agent will not be able to connect. So generative AI to determine how best to respond. So I can turn this options off. I can go into settings, I can make it no, I can click on save, and then once it is saved, once I try to connect it, it should not be available, or it should not be able to connect to the other agents. So this is how you can configure multi-agent in Copilot Studio. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching.